In the dimly lit corridors of the Warren Occult Museum, behind a glass case marked with a foreboding sign that read, "Warning, positively do not open," sat Annabelle, the infamous Raggedy Ann doll. Though unassuming in appearance, her stitched smile and lifeless button eyes hid a sinister history, one that had claimed lives, tormented minds, and shattered reality for those unfortunate enough to cross her path. The story of Annabelle begins in 1970, when a young nursing student named Donna received the doll as a birthday present from her mother. Donna and her roommate, Angie, placed Annabelle on the bed, unaware of the dark force attached to it. It started small. Annabelle seemed to shift positions on her own, arms crossing, legs uncrossing, head tilting. But soon, things escalated. Notes in childish handwriting reading "Help us" would appear around the apartment. A thick, red liquid, blood, or something worse, began seeping from the doll's hands. Frightened, the girls sought the help of a medium, who claimed the doll was possessed by the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins. Feeling pity for the child's lost soul, Donna and Angie allowed Annabelle to stay. That was their first mistake. One night, Lou, a friend of Donna and Angie, woke from a terrible nightmare, feeling the weight of something on his chest. Paralyzed, he watched in horror as Annabelle climbed onto him, her tiny stitched hands pressing against his throat. He gasped for air, but there was none. Just as he thought he would suffocate, the pressure lifted. Annabelle sat motionless beside him. The next morning, 3 deep claw-like scratches ran down Lou's chest. But dolls didn't scratch. Dolls didn't move. Something else had taken residence within Annabelle. As the days passed, Annabelle's actions became increasingly aggressive. Objects in the apartment would be thrown across the room with force. The sound of shuffling feet would echo at night, yet no one could be seen. Doors would open and slam shut on their own. Shadows would move in the corner of their vision, vanishing the moment they turned to look. The air became thick with dread, a suffocating presence looming over them. Then came the whispers. Late at night, Donna and Angie would hear soft voices murmuring, though they couldn't make out the words. Sometimes, the whispers seemed to come from Annabelle herself. Other times, they would come from the walls, the closets, or even from underneath their beds. One evening, Donna returned home to find Annabelle sitting at the dining table, her hands placed neatly in front of her. Something was different. The air was heavy. The apartment was eerily silent. Donna hesitated before stepping forward, a chill running down her spine. As she reached out to pick up the doll, a cold, invisible force yanked her arm away, leaving behind a dark bruise in the shape of fingers. Terrified, Donna turned to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators. Upon arriving at the apartment, Lorraine, gifted with clairvoyance, immediately sensed an inhuman presence lurking within Annabelle. It was no child's spirit, but a malevolent entity, using the doll as a conduit. The Warrens took Annabelle, believing they had contained the evil. But Annabelle had other plans. As they drove home, the car's brakes failed, the steering locked, and near-fatal crashes were narrowly avoided. Only after Ed sprinkled the doll with holy water did the disturbances cease, for the moment. Sealed in a sacred glass case at the Warren Occult Museum, Annabelle continued her reign of terror. Visitors who mocked her often met grisly fates. A young man who taunted the doll later died in a motorcycle accident. Another visitor, laughing at Annabelle's legend, crashed his car shortly after leaving the museum. Even the priests and curators who tended to Annabelle often felt an eerie presence, whispers, shadows moving against the walls, or the feeling of unseen eyes watching them. Some even swore they saw Annabelle's stitched mouth curve into a sinister grin. One night, a caretaker of the museum decided to test the legend. He unlocked Annabelle's case, just for a moment, brushing his fingers against her fabric. That night he suffered a vivid nightmare of a dark figure standing over him, whispering in a voice unlike any he had ever heard. The next morning, deep scratch marks covered his arms and neck, though he had been alone in his room. Though locked away, Annabelle's influence lingers. When the museum closed in 2019, rumors spread. Had Annabelle escaped? Some claimed to have seen her elsewhere, in places she was never supposed to be. Others whispered that she had found a new host, a new doll, or worse, a human. In 2020, a viral rumor suggested that Annabelle had mysteriously vanished from her glass case. Though it was later debunked, believers were left uneasy. If Annabelle was still locked away, why did so many people begin experiencing strange occurrences around the same time? Was it merely paranoia, or had something truly been set free? Perhaps Annabelle's story is not yet over. Perhaps she is waiting, watching, biding her time. The real question is, if you ever see a doll in a place where it shouldn't be, staring at you with lifeless eyes, will you dare to look away? What do you think? Is Annabelle simply a cursed object, or does something far more sinister lurk behind her stitched smile? Have you ever had a paranormal experience with a doll or an object that felt alive? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another terrifying story. Stay safe and beware of the dolls.